Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Aloha.
There you go. So do I have to say this all over again? I'm Nancy O'Neill. Uh, I'm a licensed practitioner here at the Center for Spiritual Living, Tahoe-Truckee. And I just want to welcome everyone who's here this morning. So you know, whoever you are and wherever you are on your spiritual journey, you're welcome here with us. We know there are many, many paths to God, and we recognize all these paths, and they all end in oneness and in love. So we're grateful for each of you who's with us this morning, whether you're here in the sanctuary or watching on Zoom. So we set our intentions today with the receptivity statement that you'll see on the screen. So read along with me. I am here by divine appointment. Something I'm about to hear applies to my life. I am open, receptive, and willing to explore the possibilities. So this morning we have Davina Moore, who is our musician. Yay! So, okay, Davina, how long have I known you?
Over 20 years.
Over 20 years.
Probably 24 years.
Maybe. Davina was a practitioner here at Center for Spiritual Living back when we were Church of Religious Science. And she was trained by Sandy Freeman Loomis, Dr. Sandy Freeman Loomis. And anyway, her son was born here, Kenny, and we remember that. I remember when Kenny was born, and now Kenny is a father of twins, which brought Davina back here from Hawaii, where she lived for 21 years. Anyway, I'm always so inspired by Davina because she sings and she plays the ukulele, which is my favorite instrument of all. So I watch every move that she makes on it. Oh, she dances too. I mean, she's just such a great spirit. And we're so glad that she's moved back to Reno, so she's nearby. So let's welcome Davina this morning.
Aloha.
Aloha.
Y'all, who knows what aloha means? Who's ever been to Hawaii? We know that aloha means hello and goodbye. The deeper soul heart meaning of aloha is unconditional love. Regardless of your flaws, your failures, your mistakes, whatever, I love you. I'm not going to try to fix you or change you. My goal and intention is to love unconditionally myself as well. So aloha, the breath. And I'm just going to make sure I'm tuned up because, you know, going from 5,000 feet to 6,000 feet, going from the high humidity of Hawaii to the dryness in the Sierra, my little Uki she's like, hey, what are you putting us through now? She loves to play. Yes, Nancy likes to play ukulele too, and this one is a special one. It's a 5-string ukulele, so it has a high G and a low G. Okay, so the song I'm going to start with is, this is dedicated to my sweet musician brother Brian. We would always start our gigs with this song. We encourage people to dance, sing along, whatever you feel like doing, okay? And my dear friend Patty's going to help me with the shaker egg, a little percussion.
When the night has come and the land is dark and the moon, well, she's the only light we see. Well, I won't be afraid, no, I won't be afraid. Just as long, yeah, as you stand by me. So darling, darling, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. can stand and take my hand, stand by me. If the sky we look upon should tumble and fall, or these mountains, well, if they crumbled to the sea, I won't cry, I won't cry, no, I won't shed a tear. Well, just as long as you stand, stand by me. Come on, people. Just as long as you stand, stand by me. Oh, great Spirit, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Take my hand, and won't you stand, stand by me. If the sky we look upon, oh, it would tumble and fall, or the mountains, well, if they crumbled to the sea, I won't cry, I won't cry, no, I won't shed a tear, just as long as you stand, stand by me. So darling, darling, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Won't you stand and take my hand, stand by me. One more time. Won't you stand by me? Oh, stand by me. Take my hand, and won't you stand by me? And aloha means unconditional love, right?
Can I play your ukulele? Anyway, so this morning, our practitioner is Brenda Heldoorn. Oh, God, we always love it when Brenda's here. I mean, you know, what can I say? She's an amazing practitioner. Brenda gets it, you know. She really does. And she comes from Carson City so many times. She burns a road up between here and Carson City, in which we're so, so grateful. So this morning, Brenda will be here to do our opening prayer and our reading. So let's welcome Brenda.
Good morning. So for this morning, I'd love you to join me in an invocation. There's not a specific reading this week. Reverend Barb is, she's keeping it all to herself. She'll share it with us. So just breathe, become present. And know that there is only one, the source of all that is present in this moment, in this place, in my heart. And know that source is the very source of who I am, of who you are. Each one of us has come into being, birthed from this one source. And the nature of this source is to create. Its nature is love, peace, joy, beauty, and truth. Therefore, that is my nature. That is your nature. Indeed, that is the truth of all beings, of all creation. Knowing this, accepting this truth, I embody this truth. And I know that each one here present today, in the sanctuary, or joining us over Zoom, each one of us is present to be inspired, to be lifted up, to be open to wisdom, to what will be shared here today. For this one comes through Reverend Barb to each one of us as truth calls to truth and deep calls to deep. And all will be blessed, healed, and touched by what is being shared here today. And so I simply give thanks for this. With a grateful heart, I accept this truth. I allow it to become anchored in my consciousness. And my feet stand on holy ground. And I release my word into the law, knowing that it is always returned fulfilled, for it is complete and whole in the mind of God, even now, in this moment. And so with great joy, I welcome Davina back for another song.
So as you know, I've lived in Hawaii. I was in Hawaii 21 years. I've come back and I'm living in Reno because I have two precious grandbaby girls that are twins, 7 months old. And I want to remember Hawaii and all that I learned there of slowing down in driving and in doing anything and everything, and really being present and focused on one thing at a time. And of course the music with the ukulele. And the other thing I really love doing, and I want to keep it alive within me and share it, is dancing hula. Hula is a sacred practice, and the movements are focused on nature, much similar to the Native American culture is the Hawaiian culture. There's a lot of things in history I'm not going to go over now, but you can imagine, right? People coming there, living in villages, and then another culture came over and changed things. We'll leave it at that. So I want to keep the aloha alive. So I'm going to dedicate this dance to my beloved sister friend Maggie, who just passed away a couple months ago. 15 years she was my sister. She lived in Hawaii 40 years, built her own cedar home with her hands, raised her daughter, and she taught me so much about the Hawaiian culture. She also taught me tapping, the emotional freedom technique, and was my prayer partner when I lived on the island. So the song is called Wahine Ilikea. Wahine means woman. Ilikea means white. Pua is flower. Kai is the ocean. Poli is a bay. Nani means to look toward. And it'll sing about the trees, the tall verdant trees like the ones that are here. Kaheke. Aina means land. Home means home. Malahini is the newcomer, right? And in essence, we're all newcomers. Okamalo will show about a place. And here's the thing I love, because the belief is we're all star seeds. We all come, in Hawaii, they believe they came from the Pleiades, right? The Subaru, the seven sisters. And so that from creation, much like religious science symbolism, coming from heaven, source, God, Akua, and here I am in form, and here is where I am now. here I am in the physical form. So, Diana's going to help me by putting up the song.
Make kai Ohono liwai Wahine Ilikea I ka poli o Molokai no ka heke Nani wale no Na wai lele uka O hina, o haha, o mo'oloa Na wai e kolu I ka uwehi O ka malo I ka mali e Ua ka launu ma ke kai Ohono liwai Wahine Ilikea I ka poli o Molokai no ka heke Nani wale no ka aina halawa Ome ho'okipa a ka malihini Aina uluwehi I ka noe ahi ahi Ua lawe mai e ka makani o olua Ua ka launu ma ke kai Ohono liwai Wahine Ilikea I ka poli o Molokai no ka heke
Oh my goodness, that was amazing. Thank you, Davina. So it is my pleasure this morning to introduce our guest speaker, and today that's Barb Walley. So I have Barb's bio here, and Barb has a special place in our hearts here at the center. So her formal training began 20-some years ago, and she is a spiritual life coach now and was an active New Thought spiritual leader for over 15 years in Toledo, Ohio. She is also a licensed and ordained minister with Centers for Spiritual Living. So she began her journey as a spiritual student at Long Beach City College in California when she was first introduced to comparative religions. And in 1978, she was introduced to A Course in Miracles, studying with Marianne Williamson in Santa Monica and Hollywood. Boy, those are some creds. She spent time at Self-Realization Fellowship at the Lake Shrine Temple on Sunset Boulevard, where the teachings of Paramahansa Yogananda are taught this day. So in 1980, she discovered The Science of Mind by Dr. Ernest Holmes and has been on the New Thought Ancient Wisdom path since that time. She shared the insights and growing awareness with others on her cable television show that she produced for 7+ years, featuring authors such as Mark Victor Hansen, produced a video of Jack Canfield, Dr. Peggy Bassett, Dr. Dominic, Dr. Margaret Stevens, and many other New Thought greats. I didn't want to murder it, sorry. So She is currently she is a Kira yoga practitioner for about 6 years now and has developed a deep love for the practice of Raha yoga and the ageless wisdom that can be found in the Bhagavad, another one, Bhagavad Gita, thank you, and other spiritual resources. She has dedicated her life and all of her work to God. Her intention is to love and serve Spirit in all that she is and all that she does. Her heartfelt intention is to help you find spiritual life tools that serve your spiritual growth and transformation and helps you go more deeply into a personal relationship with God. And that is indeed why we're all here. So please help me welcome Reverend Barb.
Well, those of you that have known me for a while know that this is like coming home to me. I love you guys, and it is clearly divine order. When I showed up at Ananda, and some of you were there, I go, thank you, because I just have missed you, and I miss the Science of Mind, because I'm a combination of them all, and I have been for my whole life. And actually, I even knew Sandy. I used to go to Glendale Church when she was there. I loved Sandy. She was good. She talked me into sleeping on the floor when I used to live in downtown LA. And I spent most of the night until I've gone, I don't think so. I think I'm going to go home. I did. Anyway, it's so good to be here with all of you. And thank you for inviting me. Joy and sorrow arrive in our lives for a reason, a season, and a lifetime. And I really believe that, because everyone experiences grief. And my preparation for this talk came as a big surprise for me, and I'm sorry, I'll get emotional, because my brother-in-law died 2 weeks ago. So here I am about to write this talk, and I had a whole different beginning to it, and then that happens, and I'm going, oh my God, I can't write it at all. And so at first I was just shut down. And then I kept saying to myself, I have a reason, a season, or a lifetime, and I never know why, and we never know what's provoking it. There is truly only one mind, and I've been a long-time student of the Science of Mind and all of these teachings, and I know that it is the truth, and I know that it sets us free. And I believe that if this came to me, and finally I got to a place in my mind that I go, if it came to me, it's mine. Even though I really didn't want to agree to that, some part of me just wanted to let it go, but that's not my nature, for one thing, and two, that wasn't my divine assignment, because I was committed to come here. So I had to write the talk, and I had to work it through, because I don't believe in superficiality. I believe in telling the truth and walking the talk. And God gave me a tough one this time. That wasn't, my brother-in-law fell downstairs. My sister and brother-in-law they have one of those chairs because they were both getting old. My sister's 10 years older than me. I'm only 15, but, But, she's starting to, they both were, and he was about 7 years older than her. So it was just a very strange thing that happened. And I knew that somehow there was a tie-in to this talk, and I wasn't seeing it at first. Then I realized that there's a presence for love, and it's teaching us love, only teaching us love, and we're extending love, and we don't know why things happen, but those that are the deepest ones that really throw us off emotionally, I'm with you on that. It's tough. It's not an easy thing to lose people you love. And I felt that I couldn't even help my sister. Now, she was strong for a while, but yesterday it really hit her hard. And so I must have sensed it. And so I called her, and the minister in me shifted the gear, and I was no longer in that, because there's a power for good that's in the universe, and it is God, and God will take over. And Dr. Holmes, and I'm going to close with this idea, and you'll see kind of where I'm going. When I was taking my last test to get my license, my permanent ordination, that I no more tests about that. I had a ton of them. And Dr. Holmes, honest to God, you may not ever believe me, but honest to God, I would say, put my hand on a Bible, and if you know me, I would never do that if it wasn't the truth, because I know how the law of cause and effect. Anyway, Dr. Holmes walked right in front of me. I was all dressed, ready for my last interview that was going to give me my permanent ordination, and walking right in front of me, I mean, this close as you are, Dr. Holmes is walking in front of me. He was not in a body anymore, as far as I know. And he said to me, "You are standing on the shoulders of giants." And some part of me got it, but some part of me really didn't get it yet. And that's partly what this talk is about, that we really have to find a Kleenex. Didn't expect that one. I should know. I'm an easy touch when anything emotional happens. I'm a Cancerian Pisces moon, lots of water. So I thought, okay, what's the worst that can happen? You guys are going to see me cry. Duh. Can I live through it? Yes. Each one of us is a holy temple of God. Each one of us. That's an absolute truth. There's no one that's an exception. Even if you're ignorant to the teachings, we are one with God. We were created that way. That's the power we've got to really engage in, especially at this time in our lives. The world needs us. We'll grow huge churches if we are so inclined, because if people get how powerful this teaching is, and they really take it in, that there's truly only one, it's God, and we're using that consciousness, then we will no longer be struck by our limitations and our fears and all the stuff that gets passed around in this world that causes people to fear that something bad's going to happen to them. It may look like that. I mean, I would have said that my brother-in-law's dying was just going to be a horrible thing for all of us, and we would be plagued by it, and I couldn't write a talk, and how could I do this and mention him and stand with some respectability and share this truth that happened? And I'm not through with it, but I had to get some strength in. And it couldn't be my strength. It had to be a powerful good that's the universe. And I knew if I really connected with it, I would be able to do it. Because there's no difference between God consciousness and my own, except if I believe it is so. And if I believe it is so, it will be so for me. And that's true for you. And that's creatively, that's financially, that's morally, that's spiritually, on every single front of this life. We're enlightened souls. You may not think so. But if you compare yourself to the rest of the world, you've got a lot of wisdom, and you can use it. And we're meant to use it if we're receptive. We can't just shut down and say, okay, I learned enough at Science of Mind 1. That's not true. It's an ongoing process. And we can go deeper into this teaching because it's a very powerful teaching. And why the universe brought me into Ananda as well, I don't think I really needed it, but at some level I must have needed some of what that teaching offers, that I could put, it was a piece of a puzzle. And I see how I've returned, even though I'd never left it. I just feel like I did when I left my church and went to Ananda. I wasn't planning to hang out there for years, 15 years. But there was something for me to integrate into my awareness. And God brought me here today. The timing was absolutely precise. And I walk into the garden, and who's there? You guys are there. And I go, divine timing. I go, this is not a mistake. We're one. And we have to see the power in that. We have to harness that potential. And we can. Because even though grief is unavoidable, it doesn't have to kill us. It doesn't have to manipulate me so much that I can't experience the grief. That's what I had to do. Part of me wanted, I saw this topic and I'd go, no way can I talk about this. I mean, we're talking, it hadn't even been 2 weeks when I got this assignment. And of course, I was ashamed to even say that I don't think I can do this. So I didn't write it. I didn't write my talk. I didn't get anything going. And I'm going, that's not like me. I like to get things going for a while so that that divine mind can fill in the spaces that I won't do automatically. So I had to come to peace about my brother-in-law. And I wasn't, it's a good thing that I wasn't right there with my sister, because I probably would have been far more emotional all the time. But the science of mind proves to us that grief has the power to misdirect our minds and divert our emotions, and that we have to take over that. We have to step in and say, there's a power for good in the universe, and it's operating in me and those around me and those in my family that are affected. And I can be helpful. I thought when I go, there's no way I could be helpful with my sister. And I'm going to be going to Long Beach shortly. And I know somehow I'll move through it. I'll help her because I won't be choking on it. And he wasn't well. And so it had to happen. But we have to get stronger with these things. And we don't have a choice. It's just part of life. It's a tough one. It is a tough one. I'm sorry, I'm easy. And I don't know that I've ever cried through a talk before, but I think this might be one of them. Maybe the only one, because I probably would not agree to it again. But it was a divine assignment because it's real. And, we're in a time where there's so many real important things going on that we have to step up. And you guys, we're the wise ones. Not wise asses, excuse my, sorry, master. But sometimes we act like that. We can get very egoic. And the truth is that life is coming to serve our spiritual growth and transform us so that when the time comes that we leave our bodies, we'll still be useful. Because when Dr. Holmes walked by, it wasn't like, he had just passed and so his body was still hanging out. He had left his body a long time ago. And, so when he walked by, my head went, oh, that's somebody who looks like Dr. Holmes. I could handle that one at the moment. No, that was Dr. Holmes. And when he walked a long way, and I heard him say, "You are standing on the shoulders of giants," he empowered me. I mean, that's a lifetime empowerment. And it served my spiritual growth powerfully. But I didn't take it in completely. And there's lots of wisdom that is given to us that we don't pay attention to. So when you start to look at that and you let joy into your heart where pain was, which is what I've had to do in order to write this talk, and to some degree, and obviously process is still in process, that the divine is always ready to express through you, because there's only one mind. It's the mind of God, and we all use it. And how do I use it to change grief to joy? I have to experience that human journey, and I can't avoid it. And none of us are going to avoid that ending whenever it is personally for us or other people in our lives. We're not going to avoid it. We can try. We can go drink ourselves to death, or we could, drug ourselves. I'm sorry, I did that long time ago. Didn't like it very much. I'm an absolute disgusting drunk. Because I don't drink. I don't like it. I don't like the taste. I never liked it. I was a hippie, so you know what that meant. So, I mean, and all of that went by real fast because I didn't really like being anesthetized no matter what the form. And the reality is joy and grief are part of life. And these two terms, they seem opposite, but they're part of the same whole, just as we are a part of the whole of God. And there's no separation. There never has been, and there never will be. Our judgments may cause us to believe there is because of one reason or another, but the joy is pleasant, and it's our gift from God. And we are all entitled to it. So, one of the things that I was thinking about, gosh, I want to spark joy. I mean, I would like to come in and lift your spirits and make you feel like it, which your music does. Thank you so much. I'm, longtime lover of music. And I was in the music business for many years, and I was very spoiled until the music changed, and I'm out of here. I am not listening to that stuff. That is not music to me. And it felt like an old person when I said that to myself. I can't hear the melody. I can't hear the words. I can't, So, I go, boy, I guess I'm getting older, and still the music, I don't like it, but I do love what I think is good music, and I go, God, you sound like your parents. Yes, it's true. I'm at that point at which we don't really appreciate some of the screaming things, and I go, how can, if I can't understand the words, I'm not going to listen, especially if it's screaming noise to me. I go, God, you are an old person now. You sound like the kids who say that about us. And I remember thinking that myself. So what are we thinking? What are we believing? What are we engaging in? What are we supporting with our thought and our actions? We can't stay stuck in loss because we're living at a time of such major change, it's going to feel like loss. And so we have to recognize that we have an opportunity to make things better and encourage the possibilities of a higher consciousness. We're on the edge of a huge shift in consciousness. Why? Because we need it on the earth. And we won't save this earth. We won't save, I'm not believing, I'm not a, there's a word for it. Pardon me? That's it. I'm not a prophet of doomsday. I know we're here to transform. I know that the world's not going to end. Some part of me, we wouldn't have to work this hard. The universe would have just let us play if it was all going to blow up. It's not going to blow up. It may feel like that because there's so many things going on that are very distressing. But our emotions can be transformed. Our grief can be transformed. Our beliefs can be transformed. We can work together for a higher good. You guys did not get this education and this wisdom to just toss it out. You're going to use it. And we are being called to action. We're being called because that's the way the universe has always worked. Whatever generation before, they help, whatever little bit of wisdom they learn, we're to pass it on. And that's how the world has always worked. It's still working. And I remember when I was talking, who was I talking to about being in Paris? Okay. When I got to Paris, and I was on a ride, that's right. And my ex-husband and I were sitting, and I was just looking. I'm a junkie for all the paintings and everything, and I am surprised my husband even stayed with me. I ran him through so many things so fast just because I wanted to see everything, especially the certain paintings in Paris. We have to feel it to heal it. We have to pay attention to what's going on. We are a part of the generation that's moving that energy forward. And your assignment is the same as mine. There's only one in whom we live, move, and have our being. We're going to make some changes. And we're approaching it right now. What do I have to do? What do I have to think about? What can we as a community, as a Science of Mind community, can really, really bring forth? I know we're being called to it. What exactly it is, I don't know. It includes treatment. It includes cooperation. It includes the wisdom of our teaching. Dr. Holmes didn't walk in front of me and tell me you're standing on the shoulders of giants. For me, I put it away. I didn't tell anybody. I don't know how many years it's been. I want to find out just so I can share that. Because it took me this long. Honest to God, I didn't tell anybody this. Not even my husband or anybody. Of course, my husband was such a scientist, he probably would have thought I was nuts anyway, but because he was a doctor and he thought he knew everything. So, of course, I didn't think so. But he was a wonderful soul, and on his third wife, I hope he's gotten it by now, whatever it is. We almost got back together, but that fell through because I was in Toledo, Ohio, and he didn't want to move there. I can't blame him. I was glad to leave myself after 15 years. So the reality is Dr. Holmes wants us to realize how powerful our memory is, and to use treatment as an active practice. So what is it that we need to be using these active practices for? We need, as a community, we need to think about that and get some focus and some energy and some common intentions. And we need to let this teaching fly. It's a powerful teaching. And we know we can have larger communities than we have. But it's going to take some shift for all of us to do that. The body, without the thinker, is unconscious. We have to bring in consciousness for us to assume. That's Dr. Holmes. Right thinking brings new conditions. If we're, as a movement, we're not growing, it's because we're not doing something that we need to be doing. And I believe it's getting a greater vision, having some, get everybody that is a part of the community and our collective community, and let's ask that question and let's see how we can serve. It is not because we need to have more people in here. It's because we need to raise the consciousness about our wonderful teaching. We are indeed standing on the shoulders of giants. And I know that I want to close with a couple of little stories. There was a gal named Marina, and she was a college student, and she was 8 months without coming home to her family, and all of a sudden, just like what happened to me, the irony of having this topic, I wanted to go, this wasn't meant for me, I wanted to do something more joyful. Well, I got it. So eventually, her parents died, and she didn't get to her family. I'm feeling the same thing. I'm feeling a little guilty. My brother-in-law's and my sister's down in Long Beach, and I'm here, and I had this already planned. And so Divine Mind brought this challenge for me to find a way to have enough joy and happy, grateful thoughts that I could come and do this without making a crying mess in front of you. I tried. Mostly I did. So, because it's not I, but it's the spirit within me that doeth the works. That is one of the powers of the science of mind. And if we're struggling with grief, it's because we haven't brought the balance in yet. We haven't asked, we haven't sought, we haven't embraced the idea that grief, it could be there and still have joy. That's not a juxtaposition most of us mix together. But I had to look at that this last week. And I realized that I took a little walk as close to the beach as I could without getting my feet wet, because there's not much beach right around here right now. So I want to close with this idea. When Dr. Holmes gave us the exact image of his plaid, everyone had seen pictures of Dr. Holmes probably in a plaid shirt, right? Right. Well, he's in, this one is. But there are pictures of him in plaid shirts. And I saw him in a plaid shirt walking right in front of me. If Dr. Holmes can do it, you can do it. I can do it. I don't know how. I have never done it. And I haven't left this body at this time yet. But he wants us to know that we're standing on the shoulders of giants. Why did he say that to me? It took me, I don't know, over 20 years to tell everybody about it. And I'm going, why are you holding on to it? I felt like I should just keep it a secret because I thought people would think I'm nuts. Right now, I don't really care if you think I'm nuts. I know it was the truth. And it can set me free because I'm not going to hold on to it anymore. And I know that you will either believe it or you won't. You'll check it out for yourself because you'll ask those questions that are intimate between you and the Christ consciousness, divine consciousness, Dr. Holmes, any other spiritual teaching that you, I talk to Paramahansa Yogananda all the time, and he answers me. You know, you can now, if you didn't think I was nuts with that one, you probably will. But, you know, there's only one mind. We teach that. It's the mind of God, and we all use it. How are we using it? What are we doing with it? I really want you to know, with great joy and realization, that there is a way for you. I have a sweet picture. I wish I had it is blown up, of Dr. Holmes. Cutest picture of that face. He's such a sweet face. And honest to God, maybe someday he'll walk right in front of you, and you won't be so stuck that you might. I mean, now so many times I thought of, why didn't I just go walk with them? I mean, you know, if somebody saw me, good for them if they saw it. I don't know why he did that. I guess he just wanted me to ace my last step in my process. He goes, I got to get that kid out there so she can teach this stuff because she's got a commitment to it. I do. So do you. I've known you guys for years. You've been around here in this teaching for years. We went to the same church. What? How many years ago? 30 years? 40. Same church. Sandy and I were friends. Longtime friends. And the reality is that we're one family of consciousness. And it's such a blessing, really, for us to even realize that we're here for a higher purpose. Every one of us. And it's a blessing. We are one with God, and it is your blessing for yourself and for each one of us, as we know that. I honor you and bless you, and have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your life. I hope I see you frequently along the way. Many blessings. Namaste. And so it is, indeed. All right.
Thank you, Reverend Barb. Very inspiring. And now we'd like to welcome Davina back. One more song.
Again, I'm going to make sure she's tuned up and ready to play. So there were so many songs, and my friend here, Patty, is visiting, and she was, I was saying, what do you think about this one for Sunday? So I had a little help from her. And this is an oldie. I don't know who did it first, but I love it. And it was one of the first songs I learned on the ukulele. It's called Relax Your Mind, which is always appropriate, right? When we're finding ourselves in chaotic thinking, monkey mind, to relax our mind, take a breath. And again, you're welcome to join in singing if you'd like.
Relax your mind, relax your mind. Makes you feel so fine, so fine. Sometimes you've got to relax your mind. When the light turns green, put your foot on the gasoline. Well, sometimes you've got to relax your mind. Sing it with me. Relax your mind, relax your mind. Makes you feel so fine, so fine. Sometimes you've got to relax your mind. When the light turns yellow, take a breath and be mellow. 'Cause that's the time we've got to relax our mind. Relax your mind, relax your mind. Makes you feel so fine, so fine. It's time that we relax our mind. When the light turns red, put your foot on the brake instead. 'Cause it's wise for us to relax our mind. Relax your mind, relax your mind. It makes us feel so fine, so fine. Sometimes we've got to relax our mind. When the light turns blue, like when a cop is right behind you, what in the world are you gonna do? You're gonna take a breath, right? You're gonna take a breath, your breath, and relax your mind. Relax your whole body while you're at it, right? Relax your mind, relax your mind. It makes us feel so fine, so fine. It's wise for us to relax our mind. One more time. relax our mind, and makes us feel so fine, so fine. Sometimes we've got to relax our minds.
Yay! Good job joining in.
Thank you, Davina. It's wonderful. And so now is time for our for the spiritual practice of prosperity. So, if you will join me in our affirmation. In every thought, in everything I give thanks. I gratefully and joyfully share my offering, which flows from God, my infinite source. My gift blesses this center and all who are guided, healed, and empowered by its activities. I have to work on my side eye. I have trouble reading sideways. Okay, so if you were inspired by today's gathering, please consider sharing your abundance with our spiritual community. Donations of your time, talent, and treasure to our center support our vision of embracing all while awakening to the one. We are extremely grateful when you show your gratitude that Center for Spiritual Living Tahoe-Truckee is continuing to make a difference in your life and our community. So there's lots of ways to give: cash, checks, or automatic debit from your checking account each month. On our website, you can make a donation using PayPal link, or a credit card or a debit card using your Venmo account. Thank you. It's your choice. So, we gratefully receive these gifts, these offerings, this evidence of the abundance flowing in and through our community. And so as we accept these gifts, we bless it, and we know that it moves out into the community to bless and to heal and to lift up all who engage in the activity around this community. I am so grateful, and so it is. And so now we have our Karen Drucker song celebrating our abundance.
God is my source, God is my power, God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. God is my source, God is my power, God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. God is my...
Yay. Thank you, Karen. The slide before was, I think it's, oh, yes, that announcement is coming, I think. It did fly by because I think I got it out of order. I think it'll come back. Okay. First, I'd like to welcome our guests who are joining us. Thank you. It's lovely to see you. And we welcome our friends who are visiting today. So if you're a first-time visitor, I especially want to welcome you and thank you for sharing your time with us. Please sign our guest book and we can keep you informed with what's going on in our community. And you can also receive all of that information on our website. So first, some thank yous. Rev Barb Walley, thank you so much for being here. Especially. Zoom hosting, Diana. Yay! Musician Davina, thank you. Hospitality, Patty Smeltzer, she came here and got us set up, and thank you, Patricia. So we have some announcements today. Right after our gathering, you're welcome to stay for hospitality. There's some goodies in there, and also it's a time for us to connect and learn about certain people's adventures that they just came back from, and just sort of reconnect. So next Sunday, on the 18th, Reverend Madeline Wade will be here speaking on embracing. It just so Madeline Wade will be here next Sunday, embracing self-care, pleasure part. The practitioner will be Nancy O'Neill, and our musician will be Jared Namaste. Let's see. Also, don't forget that video recordings are available. If you won't be able to join us next week, you will be able to see video recordings of the talks through our website and also our YouTube channel. Let's see. There's quite a few announcements. The e-bike group meets every Tuesday, and you can contact Sue Pipel about that. I know that the bird sanctuary, that sounds wonderful. Boy, it's very tempting to do an e-bike. Okay. And Sue Pipel is our contact person for that. Also, the Center for Spiritual Living SOAR 2023 Summer Retreat is coming up, and that is August 8th through August 11th, and it's at Asilomar, so we're going back to Asilomar. That is very exciting. But don't forget, early bird rates, you have to register by June 16th, because that's when the early bird rates change. We have Adopt a Highway Sacred Service coming up. Our next Saturday cleanup is on June 17th, which is the third Saturday of the month, so join our team to help clean up Highway 267. And Nancy O'Neill is our contact person for information about that. The Red Tent will be coming up on the 19th from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. at the Wellness Center in Kings Beach, and that's a women's gathering. It's a potluck as well, so Red Tent. Okay. And now we have two memorial services we want to make everyone aware of. On June 24th from 4 to 6 p.m. there will be a celebration of life for our own Marty Mosier at her home in Truckee. And then there is a memorial service for Reverend Alice Ross Smith, who was the CSL Tahoe-Truckee founding minister, and that will be held on July 15th at 1 p.m. at the Donner Party Picnic area north of Truckee. Both families would like attendees to RSVP in advance, so you can see one of our board members about more information around that and how to RSVP. So, save the date. Our annual retreat at Ananda is entitled Soul Sangha this year, and it's from September 8th to the 10th. Registration is now open, and there's a sign-up sheet in there for hospitality. It is always a wonderful, wonderful experience, but I'm so excited this year. It will be facilitated by Melissa Enzi, Oh My God Life. And they are such an amazing dynamic duo. It's just, I feel my own energy rising just thinking of them and what they're preparing for us. I'm very excited. Okay, and our drop-in classes continue. We have on Thursdays we have Tai Chi. And we have meditation, energization, and meditation starting at 4:30, and that's with Penny. And Friday, the Course of Love continues. That's a Zoom drop-in class, and I've been really enjoying that. That's amazing, and it's facilitated by Sue Pipel. Okay, so don't let yourself leave here today with something on your heart. If there is something that you would like to have shifted in your life, there are practitioners here that would love to be in service for you in that way. So I'm available, certainly. Nancy O'Neill is here. Reverend Barb Walley is also a practitioner. And I believe, is Carol online? And Carol Dalbon is online if you're on Zoom. We would love to pray with you. So don't Don't let yourself leave here with something heavy on your heart. So there's lots going on to support you. If you need a more extended session with a practitioner, we are available for that as well. And you can always contact one of us for to set aside some time to give yourself that gift. Okay, so please join us in our closing song, followed by our affirmation. And our closing song is One Heart. Please stand.
One heart, one life. We are one family, one earth. One heart, one life. We are one family, one earth. And together we can make a difference in our world. Every creed and color, every boy and girl, all of creation, no separation. We are one heart.
Oh, and here I get to practice my side eye. I am lifted by love and expanded mentally, emotionally, and spiritually by the one spirit that loves us all. I am deeply blessed to realize this now and apply it to my life. I am grateful that I know that I am supported by divine consciousness this day and always, and so it is. Thank you.
And we